March Madness is here, and I'm going to fill out the perfect bracket because I'm a college basketball expert. Without further ado, we're going to start things off in the South region where I got Auburn beating the shit out of Alabama State. Surprise, surprise, number 1 seed Auburn moves on. Now we get to the real interesting matchups, and this is Louisville versus Creighton. I don't know who to go with. I'm going to lean Louisville here. And I'm going to take Louisville in my bracket because they're a better shooting team in my opinion. And they can space the floor a little bit better than Creighton can. It's going to be a tough matchup. In addition, Louisville is kind of playing at home in a way. It's in Lexington, which is pretty close to where Louisville plays. Creighton obviously has to go a little far. So I'm going to go with Louisville here to beat Creighton. I think this is the game that actually kicks off March Madness. So yeah, Louisville moves on. Next, we have Michigan versus UC San Diego. Look, a lot of people are choosing UC San Diego. UC San Diego is the trendy dog this year. And what I've noticed over my years of March Madness is that trendy dogs always come up short. I get why UC San Diego is so popular. I get it. But you guys seem to be forgetting that Michigan has 2 massive big men. Danny Wolf and Vladislav Golden. If you even think for one goddamn second that UC San Diego is going to have a chance of matching up against those big men in the paint, you are severely mistaken. Michigan just won the Big Ten. I'm tired of the Michigan disrespect. I can see them going on a run. Michigan is going to beat UC San Diego. The size matters. This Michigan team is fucking scary. Don't sleep on Michigan. I'm going Michigan. Next, we have Texas A&M versus Yale. Let me start things off here by saying I have watched a lot of Yale basketball this season, and I mean a lot. I've bet on a lot of Yale basketball this season. And it's very clear to me that Yale is going to pull off the upset. Look, Yale did it last year versus Auburn. They're going to do it this year versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M is decent, but Yale is legit. I fucking love Yale in this position. I'm going to be betting this fucking game. By the way, I should have mentioned I'm betting on the Michigan game as well. But this game I'm really betting on hard. Yale to cover. Yale to win. Yale is going to beat Texas A&M. I guarantee it. This is my upset. I mean, I actually have another few upsets, but this is my big upset of the first round. I'm telling y'all, don't sleep on Yale. They are going to pull it off. I guarantee it. Next, we go to Ole Miss versus North Carolina. This game is fucking weird. North Carolina is favored in this game. There are people saying North Carolina shouldn't even be here, and they shouldn't. And they are favored over Ole Miss. Again, I feel like people are disrespecting Ole Miss. They're not great, but they have a very favorable side of the bracket. I don't believe North Carolina is going to replicate the performance they just had versus San Diego State. I'm going to be honest. I think people are sleeping on Ole Miss, not giving Ole Miss the respect they deserve. And I'm going Ole Miss. Ole Miss to advance. North Carolina had a good run. They don't even deserve to be this far. But Ole Miss needs to be given more respect. They're not great, but they're not as bad as everyone's making them out to seem. I'm going Ole Miss. Next, we have Iowa State versus Lipscomb. I actually thought about picking the upset here. I really did. Iowa State's or one of Iowa State's best players is out. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough without him. But I still think Iowa State is talented enough to beat Lipscomb without one of their best players. I think it's whatever his name is. I don't even fucking care what his name is. So yeah, I got Iowa State in this bitch. Moving on. I'm going to go Iowa State. I think they have enough talent to beat Lipscomb in the first round. Next is Marquette versus New Mexico. I got New Mexico. I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. I got New Mexico. New Mexico is better than Marquette. Marquette is not that good this year. They were good in the years prior. This year is not their year. I don't trust the way they shoot the ball. I don't trust this Marquette team in March at all. I like New Mexico in this position. I think New Mexico is hotter and is better than Marquette. I got New Mexico. And then last team in the last game, I should say, in the South region, Michigan State's going to dog walk Bryant. I have no doubt about that. Bryant is not going to upset Michigan State. This Michigan State team is very, very good. We'll talk more about the Michigan State team in the later rounds, but Michigan State is not losing the first round. I got Michigan State. Now we move on to the West region. Florida, for those of you that don't know, has been my pick since before the season started. They were 60-1. I was betting them 60-1. I have futures on Florida. I'll say this right now. They have a stupid, difficult path. This West region is a bloodbath. It's a bloodbath. This is the fucking group of death, or in March terms, the region of death. I mean, seriously. With that being said, Florida's going to dog walk Norfolk State. This isn't crazy. I'm picking Florida. Surprise, surprise. Next, we have number 8, UConn versus number 9, Oklahoma. This game intrigues me. Everybody is picking UConn. And I get it. UConn is the back-to-back defending champs. Not only are they the back-to-back defending champs, they cover the spread in all those games. So not only do they win, but they cover. This UConn team is not like last year's. This UConn team is not like 2 years ago. They're good, but they're not that good. The public is overrating UConn. UConn is not going to win this game. Jeremiah Fears on Oklahoma is the type of dude that's going to go off in March. He has this it factor where he's one of those like Steph Curry's type of dudes that are going to make a name for themselves in the March Madness brackets. Oklahoma is shaky as fuck. I know. But UConn isn't that good this year. I love Oklahoma. I'm going to be betting Oklahoma pretty hard. I love Oklahoma to cover. I love Oklahoma to win. I'm taking Oklahoma to move on and beat UConn. Yeah, UConn bows out in the first round. Next, we have Memphis versus Colorado State. Super sus spread, by the way. Colorado State is the 12th seed, and they are favorites over Memphis. Now, that makes sense in the way that Memphis has one of their better players injured, and Colorado State is the hottest fucking team in the country over the last, 10 games. They are rolling. And they remind me of NC State last year. The way that they are coming into this tournament so fucking hot on a massive win streak. I got to go with Colorado State. I'm going with Colorado State. I believe Colorado State will beat Memphis. They are due for a run. They have all the momentum, and they are going to carry that momentum into this tournament. Give me Colorado State to beat Memphis. I'm betting this game, and I'm betting it hard. I like Colorado State to win here. Next, we have Maryland versus Grand Canyon. The Crab 5 is good. Now, do I think Derek Queen is bitch made? Yeah, I do. Do I like Julian Reese? Oh, yeah, I do. So you see, it's a double-edged sword. I like Julian Reese, but I fucking hate Derek Queen. This is a tough game because Grand Canyon's consistent, and Grand Canyon actually made it last year. They have a good team, but I just feel Maryland is just overall better every which way. Everything Grand Canyon can do, Maryland can do better. I don't know how far Maryland's going to make it because they're not that deep, and I think that's going to hurt them in the long run. But at least in this first round, I think Maryland beats Grand Canyon and moves on. Next, we have Missouri versus Drake. Look, Drake is the trendy dog this year. But matter of fact, Drake is a trendy dog every fucking year. Every fucking year, Drake is this trendy-ass dog, and this year is no different. I know Missouri is not as hot as they were to the middle part, beginning of the season. But motherfucker, Missouri is going to beat Drake. I have faith. I don't think Drake is going to cover. I don't think Drake is going to win. Drake is one of those trendy dogs that gets their ass handed to them by a team that actually knows how to play basketball and has played against top-level competition the entire season. Who the fuck has Drake played this season? I mean, seriously. Fucking Missouri was in that bloodbath that was the SEC. I got Missouri to win. I got Missouri to cover. Put some respect on Missouri's name. Put some respect on Missouri's name. They're going to beat Drake. Next, we have Texas Tech versus UNC Wilmington or Williamton. I don't know how to fucking say it. And I don't care, to be honest. I got Texas Tech here. I'm going to keep this one short. I'm not going to yap for too long about this one. Texas Tech is better than them. Texas Tech is going to make a deep run. I got Texas Tech here. I'd be shocked if they lose in the first round. Texas Tech is nice this year. Next, we have Kansas versus Arkansas. This game is fucking awesome. This game is awesome. Coach Self versus Coach Cal. Woo! 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 Look, Kansas was the number one seed or number one AP number one to start the season. They have significantly underachieved. And I think this year is the year Kansas just completely underachieves. I got Arkansas to beat Kansas. Move on. I believe that Kansas is decent, but they are too reliant on Dickinson, which, by the way, this motherfucker started college when I was born. That's how old he is. And a lot of these other dudes as well on Kansas, they're not great. Arkansas is not all that either, but I believe Coach Cal wants to actually do something in March. He usually falls short, and he's going to come up clutch. Arkansas will beat Kansas. I actually like this game too for betting reasons. If any of you guys are interested in what I'm actually betting on, just let me know. I might be streaming some of these games, so you'll know if I'm streaming. But if you just want to know what I'm actually betting on, like actual plays, because some of these I might be betting the spread instead of the actual money line, just comment down below. I'll try to respond if you guys care. So yeah, Arkansas moves on. Next is St. John's versus Omaha. I think Omaha is a super weak 15 seed. I got St. John's. The Johnnies are rolling. New York is piping hot. St. John's is going to win. St. John's basketball is back, baby. All right. Now we're in the East region. Duke. I don't know who they're playing yet because I'm recording this on the Wednesday before these games are played. But in any case, Duke. They are not losing in the first round. They are very good. Even if fucking Cooper Flagg doesn't play in this game, I still think Duke wins. Next. Mississippi State versus Baylor. Super difficult matchup to predict. The spread's been bouncing back and forth. Baylor opened as favorites. Now it flipped to Mississippi State. Now it's starting to even out at even play. Look, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a fucking difficult ass game. It's probably going to be a bracket buster for a lot of people. But Baylor is just so inconsistent. Mississippi State is also inconsistent, but Baylor is just a lot more inconsistent. I don't trust Baylor. They have a cool team. They got a good NBA player, soon-to-be NBA player. But I believe Mississippi State is going to be better. They're going to win. They're going to move on. Give me Mississippi State in this one. Next is Oregon versus Liberty. Liberty. Again, an interesting game. Liberty is a little bit underlooked, in my opinion. Nobody's picking Liberty for the upset. And neither am I. I know. I'm going to take Oregon here. I'm not too confident in Oregon in this game, but I just don't see a world. I shouldn't say that because I'm going to look like an idiot, but I don't see Liberty beating Oregon. Oregon's more talented. Oregon's better. Oregon's going to win here. I got Oregon, but I'm not betting this one though. Next game, Arizona versus Akron. Akron is a trendy dog, but they're a trendy dog for a goddamn reason. Holy shit, can they score the ball? And if Akron goes on one of those runs where they just score, it's good night, Arizona. It is good night, Arizona. No question about it. I was thinking about picking Akron here, but I'm going to go with Arizona. I believe Arizona's more talented. I like Caleb Love. I like that big man they got down low as well. Akron can light the ball up, and the only way they truly win this game is if they just completely outscore Arizona, but I don't think they will. Give me Arizona to beat Akron in a close one. I'll actually probably take Akron against the spread here. So yeah, that's what I mean when I mean like I'm taking a spread but not a money line. So I'm probably going to bet Akron against the spread. Next game, BYU versus VCU. I'm going BYU. Simple. Look, VCU is a trendy dog also. People like VCU. I've seen some people have VCU make a big run. VCU is good, but BYU, this team is very good. This team is very good. They can shoot this fucking ball. They can shoot. This side of the bracket's got some fucking shooting teams. BYU can shoot the fucking lights out of the place. And I think BYU is just going to be too much of an offensive powerhouse for VCU to handle. I'll be interested to see how BYU does in the long run of the tournament because it's not going to last because one bad shooting game and you're out. But I think they're going to have a good enough shooting game in which the point where they could beat VCU. I like BYU here. I'm going to bet on BYU as well. I really like BYU. They should clutch up here. They should. Next is Wisconsin versus Montana. I got Wisco. Wisco's better. I don't think Montana's pulling it off. I'd be shocked. Wisco's pretty good this year. Nothing more to say here. St. Mary's versus Vanderbilt. Nobody's talking about Vanderbilt. Nobody. I have not seen one goddamn person pick Vanderbilt. Nobody is giving Vanderbilt the respect they deserve. Don't get me wrong. St. Mary's is good. Their two best players sound like they're fucking Roman gods. But, I've seen quite a few Vanderbilt games this season. They're fluky. They are. But damn it, they are good. And they play hard. I love Vanderbilt here. I'm going to take Vanderbilt to beat St. Mary's. A bit of an upset, 7 versus 10. Vanderbilt to cover. Vanderbilt to win. Vanderbilt is super talented. Put some respect on Vandy's name. St. Mary's is decent, but they are not a team that goes deep in March. They are going to get bounced in the first round by Vandy. Vandy has played a lot harder and a lot tougher competition than St. Mary's has. Put some respect on Vanderbilt. Next, we have Alabama versus Robert Morrison. Alabama. I'm not even going to sit here and explain myself. Alabama. Now we're on to the Midwest region of the round of 64. Houston over SIUE. Houston is fucking good this year. And Houston always shits themselves in March, but this year I think might be a little bit different. But we're going to skip a little bit. Houston to win. Gonzaga versus Georgia. Interesting game because, again, I feel that Georgia is not getting the respect they deserve. And people are just overlooking Georgia and are saying, oh, it's Gonzaga. They're going to win. It's kind of like UConn and Oklahoma. Nobody's giving the respect to the SEC team that's not known for being a basketball school, right? And obviously they're playing against a team that's very, very good. I'm going to go with Gonzaga here. But I'm probably going to take Georgia against the spread. I believe this game will be very, very close. Georgia can fuck shit up. If Georgia wins this game, I would not be shocked. But I still believe Gonzaga is more talented. I think Gonzaga will clutch up in the end, finish the job, win the game. Next, we have Clemson versus McNeese. McNeese is another trendy dog, but I don't think they're going to win this one. I got Clemson. Clemson is pretty good this season. You know, obviously they were in the very weak ACC. But nevertheless, I still believe Clemson to be more talented and better than McNeese. I'm not going to bet this game. That's the reality. But Clemson will do good enough to beat McNeese. Give me Clemson in this one. Purdue versus High Point. Purdue are such fucking frauds. I am so sick of Purdue being overrated by the public. Purdue sucks balls. High Point is winning this game. Another massive upset I'm going with. I believe High Point is talented enough to match the level of Purdue. I see a lot of people saying, oh, what's High Point going to do about Kaufman-Renn? Shut the fuck up. Purdue chokes all the goddamn time. You saw it 2 years ago. They'll choke choke. Give me High Point to upset Purdue. I love this play. I am going to be betting High Point against the spread. I am going to be betting High Point money line. Purdue is going down in the first round, just like they did 2 years ago when they lost as the 1 seed. Purdue is so overrated. Purdue is so overrated. And if they somehow manage to beat High Point, I'm going to go so heavy on Clemson after, round of 32, because Purdue is so fucking overrated. Next game, Illinois versus the winner of Texas versus Xavier. Like I said, I'm recording this Wednesday morning, so I don't know who wins that game. I'm personally taking Texas in that one, but I can see Xavier winning it. In any case, I'm still going Illinois. I don't believe either of these teams are talented enough to beat Illinois. Illinois is a bit streaky, but I still believe Illinois to be a lot more talented than both Texas and Xavier. So give me Illinois in that one. Next is Kentucky versus Troy. I can see Troy keeping it close, but at the end of the day, I like Kentucky this year. I think they're pretty talented. They can make a good little run. Give me Kentucky to beat Troy. Yeah, nothing more to say there. UCLA versus Utah State. I got Utah State. I know it's a bit of an upset. I know. I'm actually going to bet this game probably too. Utah State moneyline and Utah State spread. UCLA is hit or miss. They really are. A lot of these teams are fucking hit or miss. But UCLA especially, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're shit. In any case, I don't believe UCLA is as good as advertised. They have their moments. Give me Utah State. I got more faith in Utah State. I really do. And to wrap up round of 64, Tennessee versus Wofford, whatever the fuck it is. Tennessee. Tennessee's not going down first round. Wofford's not that good. Give me Tennessee. Now we're on to the round of 32. I'm going to try to go a little bit faster now because I don't want to make this video a full-on yap session. Auburn versus Louisville. This one I'll actually talk about a little bit longer because this game is going to be played in Lexington. Louisville has a significant advantage. I don't know what the spread is going to be in this game, hypothetical, only if Louisville is in this game. But if there's a spread in this game, I'm taking Louisville. In any case, I still believe Auburn to be better than Louisville. Auburn will win. Auburn will move on to the Sweet 16. But I believe this game, especially if they're playing Louisville, will be very, very difficult and it won't be a cakewalk. Next is Michigan versus Yale. I like Yale, but I like Michigan more. I believe Michigan can make a run. Michigan is going to beat Yale. They're too talented. Danny Wolf revenge game. I like Michigan over Yale. Ole Miss versus Iowa State. I'm going with Ole Miss. I know it's risky. I know. But even if this was North Carolina, whoever's playing Iowa State in the second round matchup is beating them. Iowa State is too banged up. Iowa State is not as good as they were last year. This Iowa State team is not going far. I don't care if it's Ole Miss. I don't care if it's UNC. They're both beating them. But in this case, I have Ole Miss beating UNC. So I'm going with Ole Miss to make a run to the Sweet 16. Crazy, I know, considering a lot of people are so underestimating them so badly. New Mexico versus Michigan State. New Mexico is going to give Michigan State a tough time. But I believe Michigan State is very, very deep, very, very good. And the depth is going to help them over in the long run. And in this game to beat New Mexico. Give me Michigan State over New Mexico. Next, West Region, Florida versus Oklahoma. Going to be a tough game. Going to be a very tough game, but I got Florida beating Oklahoma. Florida is a lot more talented. I love their big men. I love their guard play. It's good. Colorado State versus Maryland. This is where I believe Colorado State's momentum propels them into the Sweet 16. Like I said, Maryland plays 5 style of basketball. I call it 5 style. Basically meaning that they're reliant on 5 dudes. Their starting lineup. Their bench is very dog shit. And I believe in these games where it's like you play one game, 1 day break, and then another game, it's going to hurt Maryland. Especially the fact they're playing such a good team in Colorado State. They are so hot. Colorado State is so hot. And that's why I believe Colorado State is going to make a run. And Colorado State is going to beat Maryland. Crazy, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Missouri versus Texas Tech. I got Texas Tech. Missouri's decent, but Texas Tech is really good this year. Texas Tech's going to make some noise. Give me Texas Tech over Missouri. Arkansas versus St. John's. Another great coaching battle. This side has a lot of great coaches. Rick Pitino versus Coach Cal. I'm going with Pitino and the St. Johnnies. I like St. John's. They're good. I don't know if they're going to win it all, but St. John's is good enough to beat Arkansas. It's a pretty easy matchup either way for St. John's, whether it's Arkansas or Kansas. So give me St. John's over Arkansas. Now we move on to the East. Duke over Mississippi State. Duke over Mississippi State. No question about it. No question about it. Oregon versus Arizona. I'm going with Zona. I like Arizona here. Arizona is very, very talented. Oregon is hit or miss. I'm going to take Arizona. I have more faith in Arizona than I do Oregon. But this is going to be a close game. BYU versus Wisconsin. I want to pick an upset here so fucking badly. And I really am. But I'm scared that BYU is going to shoot themselves out of this game. And I think Wisconsin plays a little bit more calmer, composed style of basketball. And for that reason, I'm going to go with Wisconsin to beat BYU in a close one. Vanderbilt versus Alabama. I would cry of happiness if Vanderbilt beats Alabama. But Alabama is very talented. I believe Alabama will beat Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt will give them a tough time, but Alabama is going to be too much for them. And the Midwest, Houston versus Gonzaga. What a game for the round of 32 that's going to be. What a game for the round of 32 that is going to be. But in any case, I still believe Houston to be better than Gonzaga. I know Gonzaga has a crazy long streak of making it to the Sweet 16 or better for a long time, like 10 years now. But this year, the streak ends. Gonzaga's not that good as they are normally. Give me Houston over Gonzaga. Clemson versus High Point. I've been thinking about this one for a long time. I want to pick High Point, but I'm going to go with Clemson. It's a little bit safer. Clemson has good player. They've been there, done that. They made a run last year. High Point can fuck him up, but I'm going to go with Clemson. Illinois versus Kentucky. I'm going with Kentucky. I actually really like Kentucky this year. They can fuck shit up. I like Kentucky. Illinois has their moments, but they're very streaky, and I'm not faithful in picking a streaky team. Utah State versus Tennessee. Tennessee. I like Tennessee all day here. All day. Now we're on to the Sweet 16, and shit gets crazy in the Sweet 16. Give me Michigan over Auburn. Michigan over Auburn. I'm telling y'all, don't sleep on Michigan. Michigan is good. Michigan is big. And Auburn is not that good. I got Michigan pulling off the upset in the Sweet 16. I'll probably make a prediction video for the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 when it comes. So I'll know the matchup by then. But damn it, I'm telling y'all right now, if fucking Michigan is playing Auburn, you know who I'm betting on. And I don't care what the spread is. And then the other matchup, Ole Miss versus Michigan State. Michigan State cruises to the Sweet 16. I believe they walk over Ole Miss all day, every day. Give me Michigan State in this position to make it a Michigan rivalry game in the Elite 8. Next in the West, Florida is going to beat Colorado State in a tough one. Colorado State's momentum is going to keep going. But I believe Florida is just too talented to lose this early, especially to Colorado State. Give me Florida. Unbelievable matchup here. Texas Tech versus St. John's. I'm going with Texas Tech. I believe Texas Tech is better. St. John's is a good defensive team, but I'm worried about their offense. I really like Texas Tech here. I think Texas Tech will have the firepower to beat St. John's. Give me Texas Tech over St. John's in a banger of a matchup, which, by the way, I'm not going to be able to bet on. I can't bet on St. John's matches. I should say, I can't bet on St. John's matches legally. So, yeah. Legally, I can't bet on St. John's matches, which sucks, but fuck it, it's the law. Where are we at? East region, Duke versus Zona. Give me Duke. Duke is going to roll Zona. Zona will not be able to guard Cooper Flagg, assuming he plays, but come on now. We know he's playing. Wisconsin versus Alabama. This is a great matchup. This is a really good matchup. And I'm going to be conflicted as to who to pick. Obviously, Alabama plays very good style of basketball where they score. And Wisconsin plays a little bit of a slower, more defensive style of ball. I'm going to go with Wisconsin. I think defense wins championships. They're not going to win a championship, but I think the defense will come up clutch here, slow down Alabama, and Wisco is going to beat Alabama to go to the Elite Eight. Then we go to the Midwest. Houston is going to beat Clemson. Houston is going to walk all over Clemson. I think this is a perfect matchup for Houston. After escaping Gonzaga, they're going to beat the shit out of Clemson. Give me Houston over Clemson all day, every day. And then Kentucky versus Tennessee. Kentucky has beaten Tennessee quite a few times this season. And I'm going with them again. I'm going with Kentucky over Tennessee. I believe Kentucky to be more talented than Tennessee. I really like this Mark Pope squad. I like Kentucky. I really do. They're chokers in March when they're under Coach Cal. They're not chokers in March under this new regime. Give me Kentucky to the Elite Eight. Now we have the South Region Elite Eight. Michigan versus Michigan State. Honestly, I'll be happy if either of them win. But I'm going with Michigan State. I really like Michigan State this year. They're more talented. And they play this style of ball that I think is perfect for March Madness. They can shoot, they can defend, and they have a lot of different players who can ball out. Jason Richardson's son is the star of this team, actually. Funny enough, I feel old. But Michigan State to beat Michigan in the Elite Eight, move on to the Final Four. Florida versus Texas Tech in the Elite Eight in the West. You guys know I have Florida futures. And this is what I mean when I say that I think this is the point where Florida going through this bloodbath is going to cost them. Texas Tech is going to have to beat St. John. Texas Tech is going to have to beat, who else? Missouri. But Florida going through Oklahoma and Colorado State is not a cakewalk. I'm so conflicted on this game. If this game was to happen, I will be rooting for Florida. I probably might bet Florida, but I believe Texas Tech is going to beat them. Yeah. Crazy as it sounds, I got Texas Tech. I think they're more talented. I think they're going to beat Florida. Give me Texas Tech. Texas Tech is going to the Final Four. This team is dangerous. This team is dangerous. So yeah, that's why I got Texas Tech. Next, we go back to the East. We have Duke versus Wisconsin. Give me Duke to steamroll Wisconsin. Duke is unstoppable. I got Duke over Wisco all day, every day. Wisco had a good run, but they're not beating Duke. They are not beating Duke. And to wrap up the Elite Eight, the Midwest, is going to be Houston versus Kentucky. I got Houston. Beating Kentucky. I think this year Houston can finally overcome their demons. Give me Houston to the Final Four. And now we have reached our Final Four. Michigan State versus Texas Tech. And number 1 seed Duke versus number 1 seed Houston. We'll start off with the first one. Michigan State versus Texas Tech is going to be a great game. I love both teams. I believe both teams are just as capable of beating the other and making it to the Natty. But I'm going with Michigan State. Michigan State is going to walk in and beat Texas Tech. That's the reality. And even though I think Texas Tech might actually have home advantage in this game, but I like Michigan State's depth. They're better. I love Michigan State this year. I really do. Izzo is March. Give me Michigan State to beat Texas Tech and move on to the Natty. And on the opposite side, Duke versus Houston in an absolute banger of a matchup. Everyone's going to be picking Duke, but I got Houston. Like I said, guys, I'm riding with Houston this season for quite a while. I mean, we'll see if I pick them in the Natty. But Houston is super talented. They play great defense. They've been there, done that. They always fall short. And this year has to be the year. They overcome the demons and move on to the Natty. And now, the national championship, Michigan State versus Houston. You guys know I love Houston. You guys know I love Michigan State. You guys know I love Florida also. If Florida was in this position, I wouldn't be upset. But I'm going with Houston to win the national championship. I know it's a crazy pick because Houston is a known choker and they always choke. But I have faith that this year Houston will not choke. The defense will lead them to the promised land and defense wins championship. And this is my official 2025 March Madness bracket. Let me know what your thoughts are about it. Let me know who you guys agree with, who you guys disagree with, what I got wrong, what I got right. And also, let me know what you guys got. Who you have winning the whole thing, the upsets you guys have in the first round, everything you want to know. If you want to know who I'm betting on, also be sure to comment down below. And I might be streaming these games, probably not Thursday, most likely either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Maybe all three, maybe just two, maybe just one. No promises, but be sure to watch out for the stream if I am streaming, because it's going to be fun as fuck. That is my official March Madness bracket. Stay tuned for more March Madness content coming soon.